I'm Jay.
I'm Adrian.
And together we are the
Two Crazy Cat Ladies.
I'm gonna cut you.
I think I just peed.
Buckle up. We're back in the closet.
Welcome to the last episode of Back in the Closet with the Two Crazy Cat Ladies in 2024.
Oh.
And we are joined by, can you believe we landed her?
I don't even know how it happened.
We are joined by our favorite veterinarian and resident, like you used to be resident veterinarian. Like we used to do this all the time, Wine with Woodley Wednesday. Dr. Katie Woodley, the natural pet doctor. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for doing this with us tonight and making time for us.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to be back with you, beautiful ladies, and your awesome audience. So thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh my God, we already have beautiful people here. Judith is here. Anna is here. For anyone new that's joining us, doesn't know about you and how you're changing the world one pet at a time, could you please share a little intro? Because you're just extraordinary. And if anyone's listening to this podcast, even after the live,
I also feel like we're
share.
So for everyone here, I'm Dr. Katie Woodley, as they've already mentioned, the natural pet doctor. So my journey really started with gut health and my husband and autoimmune disease, and really realizing that things really need to shift in the vet industry, the human health industry, for finding and healing root causes. So now that's a big part of how I support and help pet parents, is help them feel empowered and confident in finding and healing the root cause of gut health issues, which plagues so many cats with IBD, vomiting, hairballs, even skin issues, and really helping them make the connection between whole body health, emotional health, spiritual, physical well-being, so that they feel confident. I'm just blessed to do what I do, and I'm grateful for my journey. And I get to work with so many amazing pet parents all over the world to really help them heal their pets.
We're blessed.
We're so grateful for you.
We are blessed to have you in our presence, to call you friend.
Oh, I see some beautiful faces in my community too.
Yeah, Monica,
yes.
in Vancouver. Hello, love.
Yes.
Seen it. Oh my goodness, you guys.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And Aaron's here. Oh
my goodness. Okay.
It feels like Christmas.
It does. It feels like Christmas. Speaking of the topic tonight, and we're going to keep it short because we actually have to pick Dr. Katie's brain about a few things. But it's a very important topic. And because it's the 18th of December when we're recording this right now, it's real important that many pet parents understand how to support your cats through the holidays, right? And there's, we went last week, we had our Cocktails and BS with Dr. Barry Sands, and we talked about reducing stress during the holidays, which is really important. And we'll discuss that a little bit as well. But there's a lot of things that we need to just know as cat parents, especially those of you guys that are new cat parents, that we need to keep top of mind so that we can best support our cats through the holidays, right? And New Year's Eve, right? Also New Year's Eve.
Oh my God.
I didn't even think about that.
Next 2 weeks are big ones.
Yeah.
Big ones. Hey, Ashley with Soy Kitty is here. 3 of my favorite ladies. You're one of our favorite ladies. Merry Christmas to you. Yeah, I wasn't when we landed you for this awesome moment. I wasn't even thinking about New Year's either.
I wasn't either.
Yeah. There's a lot of stress around this time of year. I was just talking about it in my own community that, we assume it's all happy and great, but in reality, especially for all of us who have cats, it can be a huge shift and adjustment for them, where there's a lot of stress, their schedules are off, routines are off, we're stressed or feeling a lot of stress. Our cats will feel that emotional side from us also. And so when we become aware of those things and the impact that it can have on our cats, the beautiful thing is there's so many tools in our toolbox that we can use to support them, but also to support ourselves, because we love the holiday, or a lot of people love the holidays, but it can be really stressful for a lot of people too. And so there's a lot of really neat, easy things that you can do to support. And, I know we're going to talk a little bit about like the tinsel and the Christmas tree and like other things like foods and stuff like that, because it's a very common time also for a lot of like gut health upset. You end up in the ER, you're not planning it, like big expenses, things like that. So, we're going to go through some of those things to have on hand also. So that way you can avoid expensive ER visits if your cat does get like a tummy upset or something like that too, because there's so much you can do at home to support your cat through these next 2 weeks, especially.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about like the dangers first, and then I do want to get into your toolbox of the things that we can just have forefront of mind that help our cats deal with the stress of the season and also ourselves. But you nailed it. I wasn't even thinking about the tinsel on the tree and all of that. I mean, but that's something that's gonna blindside us humans if we're not aware of it.
For so many of us, right?
Like, so speak a little bit about the holiday dangers and things that we can avoid, or things that if we're just not learning about it, things that can help.
If we just got a kitty and now it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah, the big thing is like the tree, right? I feel very blessed every year when I put my tree up. I'm like, are my cats going to behave differently this year? Because mine are not interested whatsoever. We have a fake tree. So, there's probably an element of that too, but it is something where you want to make sure if you are putting up a Christmas tree that you are there observing them, you're monitoring them, you're watching them. A lot of my ornaments I use, not every single one, because I have some really nice people have gifted me ornaments over the years. And so they're not always like fall proof, right? Shatter proof. But I always make sure too, the bottom of my tree, like it's not very beautiful at the bottom because I don't want to entice my cats to want to go to the tree. So keep your ornaments, the bottom probably quarter of our tree. Yeah, is definitely bare. It's empty. And then also too, we wrap cardboard around the base of our tree too, because it's fake. And I don't want my cats climbing on it or scratching it, like the electrical stuff, getting electrocuted, things like that. So every cat will be different with what they want to play with, what they're going to be drawn to. One of my older cats, Kiwi, who's sitting right there, she's really into tinsel. So she loves like the squishy little tinsel toys and things like that. We have to be careful about, the tinsel I mentioned or string, because those are a common foreign body issue for a lot of cats. If they ingest it and they eat it, it kind of gets wrapped up in their gut, and then you need to go to the ER. They need to have surgery. It's very, very serious. Yeah. So this is the thing, like if this is first time holiday season for your kitties, being around them is very, very important when you first put it up and monitoring them, because every single cat will be a little bit different with what they do with the tree, with the ornaments, with tinsel. If you're using that, I don't use tinsel because my Kiwi would be drawn to it and I just don't risk it. So I leave a lot of things off that maybe other people are like what I grew up with as tradition was part of our Christmas tree. But I just play it really, really safe with the ornaments that we use.
Yeah, I think that's very smart. So we have 2 Christmas trees in our house. We've got our big, tall 12-foot Christmas tree, and then we use only the unbreakable balls on that one.
Cool.
And then we so they can play with them and they knock them around, and sometimes they wake us up. They haven't done that this year, but usually like they'll wake us up at like in the middle of the night because you'll hear just the balls bouncing throughout the great room, right? And then we have our small tree, which is just tucked away in a corner, and it's not really
in our little den.
It's not really
area.
attractive to the kitties, right? Like the other one, it's more attractive, but this one's just, and that's where we put all our personal ornaments, all the ones that, that are breakable and that we've gotten from family heirlooms, stuff that like you're not
Special
just going to keep in a
ornaments.
Box. Right. So
I think there's a fine line, right, between celebrating this beautiful Christmas season and being over paranoid. I think that being empowered and understanding tinsel, string, super dangerous. Just don't include that. How you decorate, the kind of ornaments that you use, pay attention, like what you said, monitoring how each individual cat responds to outrageously fabulous new decorations that are up for a short time. a short period of time during this season so important, because there are times like last weekend, we went to Henderson to go visit her,
which is a city over from us.
I mean, it's
where my
like
parents
30
live.
minutes away. But right before we left, Jack is one of our cats, one of our young lads, decided that he was going to explore the tree a little bit. We use a natural peppermint oil in water spray to help deter them from the tree. And because you worry about that, it's hard to, and then that just,
like you said, the electrocution, the like,
Yeah, I mean, they bite something and, you
Yes.
know, it's you can't do anything about that potentially. So, yeah, you do have to be careful. And I love that you brought up like the peppermint oil. You know, I could see a lot of people being like, essential oils, aren't cats like, isn't that toxic? Right. There's a whole thing around brands and things like that. But here's something that can alleviate fear. Just brew a cup of peppermint tea and put it in a spray bottle and just spray that on the tree. So that just eliminates that worry. But, you know, the biggest things are how do you deter? You don't want to attract your cat to the tree. So, you know, don't engage with them when you're like putting toys up or toys, potential toys in their eyes into the, you know, because it really is. It's like all fascinating, exciting things for our cats. But if you don't make it a big deal for a lot of them, a lot of times they'll leave it alone. But once again, every cat is very, very different. The other big thing, the danger too, is, you know, what types of flowers, like poinsettias, like things that you're going to be bringing into the house. I don't go there. My husband knows, like we either don't use them, or if you want to have something out, use a fake one, because you know, that's the thing. Unfortunately, there are some gives and takes when we have animals in our house. And that's one of those things, your lilies, your poinsettias, like it's just not worth it, because you can't always be there to watch if they're going to eat it. And these are very toxic to cats. And if something happens, you have to go to the vet to get care. And it can be an emergency. It can be very expensive. And they can pass away from ingesting these things.
It can be fatal. Yep.
Yep.
Totally forgot about that.
Oh, so what are the top three? It's mistletoe, or it's poinsettia, mistletoe, and there was a hollyberry.
Oh, the hollyhock.
Is that it?
Is that
Maybe?
Like the normal ones.
I never bring any of this stuff.
Me either.
Just don't do it. Like,
Yeah.
just say no. And if someone gifts you something, like thank you, but away it goes. I mean, my husband, he's learned that through the years because he always picks the things that are toxic to the cats. Like if he brings stuff, it's just not worth it. So I just, you know, use fake plants if you're going to have them, because your cats may even nibble on that. I mean, my cats are attracted to fake like grasses and vases and things like that, and they'll try to eat them. They think they're real. Like they don't know. So you just have to be really, really careful. And also too, I think, you know, I see Lori's comment, no Christmas tree. And like, if that gives you more peace of mind during the holidays, then 100%, that's okay. You know, I think that's really important. We feel like we have to do these things because it's tradition or family tradition, and we feel guilty, and it's okay to create your own new traditions, you know. Make a cardboard Christmas tree that your cat can play in and engage with them. You know, I say that because we have a big Amazon box that my husband converted with a cat tunnel in it, and they love it. So, you know, these are all things that we can think outside the box. It's okay to not follow normal traditions. And sometimes we just have to do that when we are blessed with these beautiful little creatures in our house.
Yep. Yeah. We were actually just talking to our shipping manager right before we jumped on here. And she has a new like less than 1 year old, right? She's like 9, 8, 10 months, something like that. And she's like,
child.
We decided that human child, right? and she was like, we decided that we're not gonna do a Christmas tree this year because she is like a little monkey, and we can just, you know, we can see her like us turn our heads, and then she's gone into the tree and knocked it over, hurt herself or whatever. So we're gonna do like a little Christmas tree this year. And it's like, you know, you do what you got to do. It's
But I think this is super empowering. You know, this whole podcast is about how to reduce stress, or how to help our cats deal with stress. And so much of that is helping ourselves deal with stress. So just knowing what some of the dangers are so you can mitigate them proactively, so important. At the top of the podcast, you said there are so many things that we have in our toolbox for ourselves and for our cats. Once we have a kind of a clear view of some of the things, like for us, our cats are at that age now where they're not climbing the Christmas tree all the time. If they do get curious, we obviously spray a deterrent. We let them play with the unbreakable balls if they get them off. We feel like we've mitigated most of the dangers that we're concerned about that
Don't
are
use
stressful
tinsel.
to me. I spent many Christmas seasons not sleeping because I was worried about our cats climbing in the tree, getting caught in the lights, all the horrors that you hear of. Once we've proactively kind of mitigated those dangers, the season itself has some stress. Our schedules are off. There is like the holiday hustle happening.
Yeah.
We have company
going
coming
into
over.
New Year, or we're traveling, all that.
What are some? Go ahead.
Well, just real quick before this, I also just want to address food in a little way, because we talk to these ER vets, and they talk about how like every year there's an increased amount of cats coming in because they ate tinsel, because they had, some kind of ornament, but also the food related pancreatitis is like skyrocketed during this time of year. Yeah. During this holiday season, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, whatever. And why, like, goodness, is it E?
No, that's Moki, Mr. Cerebellar hypoplasia. That's why he's wonky. Yeah.
He would be wonky.
He was like,
he's like, he has no idea. It's fine. You should see him tear up our big cat tree downstairs. It's insane. It scares me because it's higher, but he doesn't care. Anywho, I hope people enjoy that, because I watch it and I'm like, oh.
For those listening on the podcast later, Moki is a CH kitty, so he's got the wobble to him, and he just climbed up the cat tree behind you
because he's doing so good.
That's where he always sits.
Really,
he's living his best
hands.
life.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. He's living his best life.
He is.
He creates some stress for me, as you can watch me as I watch him in the background. So is he gonna fall off? Okay. I know he'll be okay, but people don't know if he's okay.
Right.
He's living his best life. Okay, so about the food. I mean, I think that pancreatitis thing is huge this time of year, because as humans we want to share stuff, or we leave stuff out. And we don't necessarily know what's
and not just, but like toxic foods, or foods that are just really not good for our cats during this time of season. Could you name just like a few, so that
onions, no onions, and so many people have like green bean casseroles and things like that. Keep in mind, if you're leaving like dishes out, obviously if your cat gets like an onion, usually they're fine. It takes more than that, but we just want to be really careful about what's being left out. Chocolate, things like a lot of cats aren't going to be into chocolate, but cats can be funny, right? So you never know. So leaving those things away from them and cleaning up if you do have cats, because my cats, they have free range at night, right? Most do, and they can go on the counters and just like that, so they can walk anywhere. You just watch them, and they'll lick the plates, so if you have lots of like heavy cream or cheese or dairy and they're not used to that, the problem is that this is where, yes, it can stress their pancreas. They're not able to ingest that very easily. They're not used to it. You got all three in here, by the way.
Oh my God, we've got
Moki, Kiwi, Tico.
Oh,
Merry Christmas, baby.
Merry Christmas, my love.
See, look, all three. So there you go.
Your handsome
and
husband.
Moki's looking right at you, or he was. That's not normal. So he knows. Good energy.
You love him. Hey, good point though about like the heavy creams, the butters, the things. I think a lot of people don't realize that, they say, oh, my cat loves ice cream. My cat loves sweets. Yeah. Cats don't have a sweet sensor in their mouth. They are attracted to fats. So especially when you're leaving stuff out, be aware of what has fats in it, because that's what our cats are attracted to.
Yeah, and even think about like the ham or the turkey or whatever it is we're making. Like a lot of us, like back in the day, it was always like, oh, well, this part of the meat I don't really want, so I'm just gonna feed it to my dog or my cat, right? Like, and oftentimes we want to do that because we want to share the holidays with our animals, right? So it's like we think that it's a special treat and they love it and it's really cool. But then that could also, cooked fats with a lot of spices and butters and all the stuff all over it could also not be healthy, right?
Hey, baby girl. Hey, Z, what are you doing?
They're all acting up. They're all playing off of each other.
Yeah, that was wonderful. Okay, let's go.
So 100%. I mean, thinking about us, when we eat really heavy food we're not used to, what happens? A lot of people get GI upset. You get diarrhea, things like that. So our cats are prone. I mean, it's very common. It's just people laugh about it, right? Because we don't usually go to the ER. But when our cat is having bloody diarrhea and vomiting and not eating, it becomes an emergency.
We're going. Yeah.
You're going to the ER. They might be hospitalized on IV fluids. You're going to have to run blood work, x-rays. It gets very expensive. And so this is where, if you feel like you have to give something to your cats, is there something like a bland cooked piece of meat, like a piece of chicken that you can set aside? That's small amounts that you can offer to them if you do have to go there, like Uncle Fred is just not going to listen and he's going to give something. And you can just be like, okay, Fred, this is what you're doing. This is it. Here's your little bowl for the cat or dog or whatever. And that way you're setting yourself up for success, or as much success as we can have, right? Like, obviously we can't control everyone during this time of year. And we do the best that we can. But once again, when we become aware of these things, we can try to mitigate what's going to happen. Exactly. Yeah. And this is also where too, like, the food is really important, but also keeping in mind, a lot of times your cat might have had some of these foods in the past and they were okay with it. But when we couple like stress and then also change in routine on top of that, that's where we're putting multiple layers of pressure on your cat's like system. And that's when we see the issues happen. So yes, they might've been fine with like a little bit of that food in the past, but now we're adding other layers on that's creating like that resistance. And at some point, the bucket breaks, right? And you're like, oh, they can't handle it anymore. And then we see the symptoms of like GI upset that create all the issues that we have.
Yep. Okay, so just to get to the comments real quick, because we are live, there's some comments about the water.
I saw that.
Yeah. The water in the Christmas tree. When you get a real Christmas tree, if you don't have a fake one, if you have a real Christmas tree, then could you speak a little bit to the keeping?
I think they're talking about the stuff that you get to preserve the tree that you put in the water.
Alive. Right.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So I haven't had a live Christmas tree in a very long time, but I would say there's probably a high likelihood it's very toxic to a cat. And what's going to happen? There's a water source and they're going to go over there and there's a very high likelihood that they're going to drink from it. So once again, I'm not saying not to have a real Christmas tree, but if you're going to have something, cover it so that they can't get in there. And even if you need to do a makeshift cover and make something, I don't know if I'm sure there's things out there that you can buy, but it'd be simple to like make something to cover it. And then you can cover it with your, your tree, the blanket or whatever you put around your tree. Yeah.
A piece of cardboard that you cut that fits over this tree stand, and then you foil it. So you cover that with foil, so it makes a seal. And then you can just lift it up and pour in extra water as needed.
And you can make it pretty.
But very important.
But I have to tell you a quick story. So the only time that Adrian and I have ever had a real Christmas tree was our very first Christmas together in 2004. And we lived in like a hobbit hole, literally is what we called it. It was a basement apartment,
square feet,
rat infested, really, really tiny.
We had so many cats and they loved the rats.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure they had a field day.
Yeah. They actually got along. They wouldn't get rid of them. So we just all lived together.
They're all friends hanging out.
Yeah, we'll figure this out. But our tree, we had no idea. We were just like, Christmas, let's go get a real tree. So we went to one of these tree farms where you cut them down yourself. This is in Tennessee. We were like, cut them down yourself, put it on top of your car, which we didn't bring an axe, we didn't bring string, we didn't bring anything. So we're like holding it outside of the sunroof and driving 45 minutes home.
It was awesome.
It was awesome.
It's a great memory.
It's a great story. We get home.
It was very cold.
And we're like, wait a second. We need a stand.
We need a Christmas tree stand.
And we didn't have one of those. So like we makeshift a Christmas tree stand, and we had no idea that you were supposed to water the tree either. Like we had no idea of any of this, and it wouldn't stand up. We were like, why won't it stand up? So we tied a string around it and we like nailed it to the wall.
I actually used wire and screws, and I put little like screws in the wall so that we could,
There
and
you
then
go.
here around the top of the Christmas tree to kind of keep
So
it
it
standing
just
up straight.
That's
stayed-
awesome. I feel like that's something Ryan would do.
None of our
It
thoughts wanted
works.
anything to do with that
It
Christmas
died
tree.
before Christmas because there was no water or food or anything for it, but it worked.
And now you just have the memory.
And now
We
we have
do,
a
but
great
we also
memory,
have-
and we have a fake Christmas.
We have this awareness. Like I think this is one of those things where it's a no judgment zone.
right.
Like the things that
Yeah.
we don't think about. I mean, Jay and I were obviously outrageously ignorant about a live Christmas tree
We're
with
always
cats.
outrageously
But-
ignorant.
Hey, we're all doing the best we can with the knowledge we have at the time, right?
So you may not even know that like tinsel's not a good thing. Or
Yes,
don't give your
exactly.
people the ham fat off
Yeah.
your ham. Or
Luckily, we were too poor to
don't
even
let them
decorate the
drink
tree, so
the
we didn't.
water out of the water reservoir of the Christmas tree. So these are all things that once we know better, we can do better.
Right.
And it helps alleviate the acute stressors that could
Yeah.
happen. It's being
Yeah.
very proactive about
Yeah.
those things.
So let's bring it back to stress.
yes.
Well, this is where too, I always like to give people tools for themselves because we're part of our cat's ecosystem. If we're running around like a crazy chicken, like they're going to feel it. So, I mean, that we've all been there. Like I include myself with that. And so, I use a lot of these tools for myself because especially around this time, if we're traveling and we're not here, like we bring in a pet sitter. And thank goodness we have a great pet sitter that comes in and the cats know her. She plays with them. So she gives them time, things like that. That can be really helpful too if you're in that situation. But, at the end of the day, the biggest thing is try your best to keep a routine as to the best of your ability, right? There's going to be more like holiday parties and get togethers, potentially late nights, things like that. So remember to give yourself grace. I think we put so much pressure on ourselves that we have to do it perfect. It has to be right. Like we're going to mess something up. It will be okay. It's literally 2 weeks out of the whole entire year, and it will probably be okay. So give yourself grace, let go a lot of that pressure, and that alone will make a huge difference of just shifting that mindset and being like, I'm doing the best that I can. I love my cats. I'm going to give them extra playtime, engage with them a bit more on those days that maybe they might be a little bit more stressed. If people are over and they're hiding in the spare room, like set up those spare rooms where it's like a stress-free zone that they can go to with like food, water, their litter box. I love using herb gardens, put down a towel and put some like valerian, chamomile flowers, lavender down for them to self-select if they want it. So using nervine herbs to help calm them down is really, really helpful. The other thing too is, and I use this a lot in my household, is catnip. People think like catnip's just going to make your cat go crazy. My cats will eat it, and it's actually a known appetite stimulant too. So it can calm their gut. It's anti-inflammatory. So if you have a cat that gets really stressed out or nervous and then they stop eating, use that herb garden, allow them to choose and self-select what they want and what their body needs and put it in a quiet space. If you have one, I recognize some people live in, maybe the 600-foot square apartment building.
Right.
Once again, do the best that you can. So this is where having like hidey holes, make a box where they can like hide in it, like the bush cats, they want to be low, or to throw that in there. So
Here, lady. Yes.
No, but it's
Yes.
true. Making hidey spots for them
Yeah.
is so cheap, especially at this time of year. Everybody has a box.
everything, Amazon boxes, like
Right. Everybody has a box at some point, if not multiple. Right. So
Yes.
like making those in, like, even if you have to put it under your futon or under your couch or in a closet or something like that, like just making a space for them to be able to escape to
yes.
when you're having company over, or when they're just really stressed about, the environment and what's going on.
And I want your thoughts on this because I feel like we as humans are going to have extra stressors during this season. I feel like it makes a difference to have conversations with our cats about
yeah.
it is Christmas time. Or, for example, we try to do everything right. Like you said, everything needs to be perfect. It's that
Right.
extra stress on us, right?
Yeah.
So this year, for example, I'm trying to be extra proactive. We do in my family, I have a very large family. So we do the name draw. So we each have one gift that we get for somebody. So it's not like getting 27 gifts for my brothers and sister-in-laws and parents and all that.
And 17,000.
Right. This
Children.
year, my draw was my mom, which is awesome. And that's extra exciting because I get her for Christmas. And then on the 31st is her 75th birthday, also an extraordinary milestone. So I'm trying to be very proactive about this is what I want to get her for Christmas. Here's what I want to get her for her birthday. And I'm doing the A, B, and C and the expedited shipping. So everything is going to be wrapped and perfect. And now everything is jacked. Everything is gone. Nothing's going to be here in time for her birthday. Nothing's going to be here in time for Christmas. And it's that moment of meltdown, right?
Mhm.
And Jane knows it very well, but being able to have these I should have a conversation with Jay too, but to as a human being go through the emotions of what it is to not have something perfect, but to then also have conversations and not just about holiday plans gone to
Crashing.
shit, but also just the change in the routine and all that. And I think conversations matter. What you are a scientific veterinarian, do you think it matters to our cats to try to explain our
Yes.
human?
And it might help you too. Like it might be part of like what makes you
Well, I know.
better is that she can't talk to me when she's
But I can talk
mad,
to Madison.
but she can talk to
and-
Madison, right?
and it
Well,
was-
and I think that's true though, right? This is why, when we lose a pet, it's so hard. And sometimes it's harder than losing like a human because we're so connected to them emotionally and they're with us through we talk to them. I'd be shocked. And if there's someone here that doesn't talk to their cat, like shout out because, okay, that's, we can all be different, but I would be shocked. I'm constantly talking to my cats. They all have different voices. You guys have heard like the voices that I have for my different cats. Like, like I'm mad. I'm absolutely crazy and I'm okay with it. But I think too, Adrian, you said something really important because things will go wrong, right? Or different from what we expect them to. And none of us have control over what happens. And the biggest thing that's helped me, especially in the past year, with situations where you're like, ooh, things have gone to shit, is just literally stopping, pausing, feeling it, and literally saying, what a pleasure. The reason why it's helped me, because it doesn't take away from like things going to shit. It doesn't. Like it still happened. I still have to deal with it. Things are still bad. Like we have to move forward. But what it does is it makes you kind of laugh. So it shifts your energy from this like chaos, the world is burning, everything's on fire, where you're like, what a pleasure. What a pleasure. And then I even ask from, you want it like universe, God, spirit, whatever it is, you might not believe in a higher being. That's okay too. I just say, bring me more. Bring me more. Because I know that it's okay. Like at the end of the day, like what a pleasure. I get to be here. I get to go through this. There's some like lesson here I'm meant to learn. I recognize like a trigger. Oh, I'm being reactive here. Okay, what am I here to learn?
Yeah.
Like, oh, patience. Like, oh, I don't get to control the time of like, is my mom going to actually care that she didn't get her present from me on this exact day? No, she's going to be so grateful you're her daughter. Like,
Right.
at the end of the day. And so using that simple exercise has helped me and shifted so much for me. It doesn't make it always easy. There's still a lot that we go through. And some days I literally say, God, what a pleasure. Like, but what a pleasure. What a pleasure. But it's also really helpful because, we don't have kids. It's just me and Ryan and then the furry kiddos. But if he hears me physically say that out loud, he knows there's something that I'm reacting to and he can now better support me. Whether it's like he yells out, what a pleasure from the hallway. And then we start laughing, right? Like that literally happens a lot where it's just And it just brings it back home where it's like, we're just meant to go through this, like
Yeah.
whatever this is. And so, I think if that helps anyone, great. If it doesn't, leave it. But it's made a big difference for me because I am a freak with trying to control outcomes, like planning, perfectionist, like has to go this way. I want it to be perfect. I want people to get results all the time. Like, and I have zero control over any of it. Right. And so those things really, really help me. And the other thing too is saying no. Like this time of year, so many people turn into people pleasers, or if you're like a recovering people pleaser, like it's hard to say no because I feel like, me personally, letting people down, especially if it's family or friends, but you're like, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
I don't actually want to go to that thing. And I think this is where if we can help people give permission to themselves to say no, because you're like the people might be disappointed, right? But your energy and taking care of yourself will be better spent at home, regaining that energy and resting versus burning yourself out. And I think that's a big thing with like society and these expectations we put on ourselves. Like if you upset someone, that's okay. What a pleasure. Like, guess what? They get to experience that now. And why does it trigger them? I mean, they may not be aware of that, but it's not their reaction to your decision it's not on you. It's going to be based on their life upbringings, their belief systems, all the other things. And it literally has nothing to do with us. And I think that's really important during this time of year. You don't have to say yes to everything. Like I've actually canceled some of like our travel plans because I was like, I need to get some of these things done in order to feel good moving forward. And this is not helpful. And I canceled a flight like for some of my family stuff. And they were like sad, but then they understood. And I think that's something too. Like if people can give that gift to themselves of take the time, like if you need to sit and just watch a movie with your cat, it's okay. Like if that's what your body needs right now, it'll be okay. The right people will still be there for you. And that's a big piece. And I know this doesn't seem like it has anything to do with pet health, but it does because you will feel different. You will feel more calm. You will feel more at peace. You will go into the next year with more energy, feeling uplifted and ready for the next year versus like completely burning yourself out, like and trashing yourself and not feeling good. And now you're like entering the new year. And what does everyone do January 1st? It's like, oh, no, now I got to like the detox and all the things. And like, and it's like, yeah. And it's, if we just said no more and listen to our intuition of like, you know what, I actually don't want to go to that holiday party. I don't want to go to the work party. Like, I don't actually enjoy like listening to John talk about himself even more, like, but it's like,
that's the pressure too, is that this season is the season of joy. And it's when you're not experiencing that for whatever reason, right? Whether you're stressed out, whether you're grieving the loss of someone or it is an interesting dynamic to navigate this season.
I love though that you said the pleasure statement because
what a pleasure.
because so last year we had put so much effort and time and money into launching a new website. And we were really excited about like just bringing for free to the entire world of cat parents information that can help their cats no matter where you live. And we and the whole thing kind of came crashing down on us.
I remember.
It bombed.
Absolute disaster.
And it was and I like literally right after, while we're still trying to figure out how to like get our website back and figure out how to fix it and everything, I went to Florida. I had a week long visit with my sister planned. And while we were there, and so while I was there, somebody, it was Jessica Fisher, actually texted us. So it's so weird how the universe works, right? Like she just randomly was like, this made me think of you guys, and sends this YouTube video talking about Amor Fati, which is love the outcome, love it all, love the outcome, right? Like this is pleasurable, right? Like
it's like going through the pain. It's like being with pain. like
And
being okay with it.
loving every
Accepting
bit.
it, but with joy.
And
But
I was like, you have no idea. Like, she didn't know what was going on. And I was like, you have no idea how much this was meant right now in this very moment. And it's like, I still go back and watch that. I have on my desk, and you have one on
a
yours
little coin
that
says,
Sissy got us that says
Amor
Amor
Fati.
Fati on our desk, so that we are reminded to, like, in all of those moments when
Yeah.
the presents don't come through, and not everybody, like,
It's my pleasure.
drop a ball or whatever it is, it's my pleasure. Like,
What a pleasure, right? Like,
yeah,
'cause
what a
yeah.
pleasure,
Yeah,
right?
the power of acceptance as a response is really an
Powerful.
incredible thing. And I know I feel like we're getting a little sidetracked at the holiday stress part, but I think that's
Well, it's a way to deal with them.
But yeah, it's a year-long, lifelong tool to have a real joy in the acceptance of certain things.
Yeah.
In all things. In all things.
In all things. Yep.
Certainly
I mean,
with-
and that's really difficult to say. I mean, all of us have lost a pet, and we've also lost a pet very, like, too soon, where it wasn't expected, which makes it even harder when that happens. And looking back at those times with, like, my two cats, with Finn, like, now I'm in a place, obviously during that time it was very difficult, but now I'm in a place and I'm actually grateful for that experience.
Yeah.
Like, the amount of joy and presence Finn gave me because of his brain tumor and the seizures and, like, letting go. I had zero control over when those seizures would happen. No idea. Very traumatic. However, he taught me to slow down. He taught me to be present. And I wouldn't have gone through that if we didn't go through that experience together. And now, because we went through that together, and he showed me, like, the power of the tools in my toolbox, and learning and empowering yourself so you can feel confident of, navigating health from a different perspective, integrative, holistic. Like, I can now help other people because of Finn.
Yeah.
So he's with me still spiritually. And I love that Karen Dundee Smith is here because we've connected with him.
Yeah.
But it's also a reminder, like, during this time of year, and Adrienne, you mentioned, just to round it back to, like, having conversations with our pets. They may not speak the words like we speak them, right? This is, like, lessons I've learned from talking to animal communicators like Karen, and just listening to how my cats and Finn talk to me. But they understand your energy and your intentions and your love. And so if you need to go to a holiday party and you're afraid to leave your cat, just tell them, hey, I'm going to be back in, like, a couple hours, but it'll be before, like, I go to bed. Or, I always say, and I joke about this because I've talked about it with my community, is like, it's going to be 3 sleeps. And then I was like, wait, cats take a lot of cat naps. So am I kind of, like, joking with them? And they're like, where is she? But once again, we're doing the best that we can. But here's the other beautiful thing, because we can connect with them energetically at any point. We all have, I was going to say, have a photo on your phone, but we all have 3 million photos of our animals on our phones. Like, that's a reality. We all do. And I'd be shocked if someone didn't have a photo of their, like, pet on their phone. Pull it out wherever you are, look at it, take some deep breaths to ground yourself, and connect with them. And send them love and let them know you're going to be there. So that way too, these are all free things. They sound very woo-woo, of course, but they make a huge difference. But they also give you peace personally.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's going to help calm your system down. And you can connect with them anytime, anywhere, any place, and they'll feel it. They will get the message.
Yeah. Energy has no time or space, right? So that I'm so grateful that you just reminded us of that, because one of my stressors is we're leaving shortly after Christmas to go back to Tennessee to be with Adrienne's family for her mom's 75th birthday. And we're going to be gone for a whole week, which we're never both gone.
We're never both gone for that long.
That hardly ever happens. So that reminder of being able to pull up those photos. And I'll tell you, Jill Vega texted today. I didn't tell you this, but Jill Vega texted today, and she was like, so I was trying to find a photo of this cat that she was talking to me about. And she was like, So I looked up cat on my phone and I have 6,000 pictures. She doesn't even have a cat. She's like, I have 6,000 pictures of cats on my phone. And so
I love it.
I did it. And I searched cat and I have 19,190.
Oh, see, I don't even want to look at what's on mine.
I can't even
1,100
that
brought
tool
up.
though, that you just shared, I think it's so important because Jay likes to travel 17 million times more than I do. So if she's
Yes.
talked about this trip, I'll be puking later. But I
There's some good herbs for that, by the way.
what a great reminder. I think that so many of us worry about something that we worry about during the holidays is our cat or our cats, right? And instead of making it something we worry about, making them like that we're doing this with them together,
Yeah.
that we have that ability to connect with them, that we can have those conversations. I love Love Is here on YouTube says, I tell my cat when I go, every time I leave the house, I name all the stores and tell him how long I'll be gone.
Oh,
That is,
I
when-
love that.
when
we
we
always
run
tell our
errands
cats how
together-
long we're going to be gone. We'll
Yeah.
be gone about an hour. We'll be gone about 2 hours.
right?
We'll be gone
We're
for
going to
3
do-
moons.
We call them,
Yes.
yeah. And instead of making our cats something that it contributes to our holiday stress because we have to travel or we have appointments or holiday parties or whatever it is, letting them know that we're all in this together and doing it together, because it is true that I couldn't have a conversation with Jay about what I was experiencing when everything went to holiday shit for my plans for my mom's Christmas and birthday, but I could talk to Madison about it.
Yeah.
Right? And our kids are there for us in the most beautiful, calming way. But then yet we still want to worry about them when it's so recognizing that we're all part of this in our homes, in our lives.
All together.
There is an ecosystem of beings that for whatever reason, we are all meant to be together. And so is as much kind of this energy of Jay and I are going to have a conversation about what needs to be handled. Our family unit, whatever that may be for everyone listening, also has that kind of, this is something that we're all going through together. And we can, and it is our pleasure, and it's all okay, as Dr. Sands always says.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. What will be, will be. Like, we're meant to go through it. And I think just to touch on the worry piece, because I grew up in a worry household, like, so always worry about what's going to go wrong, or, there was something of like, it's just kind of expected, right? When something bad happens, oh, I just expect that. And it's like, now just I can laugh about it, because it's like, worrying about something that hasn't happened and probably will never happen, like, how does that support me and help me? So just becoming aware of like, okay, what am I worrying about? Is this helping me in this moment? And most likely it's probably not. So asking yourself, okay, what would be a better use of like that thought? What better question could I ask of myself? Because a lot of times that worry is coming and stemming from like the fear of losing control, right? We see it with like pet parents all the time. Like, what if this doesn't work?
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm like, but what if it does work?
Yeah.
So shifting that and trusting the process, and also having faith for every single person here, we can do hard things, and we're all going to go through different struggles, and the holidays bring up so many things for a lot of people, and shifting kind of our perspective and looking at things in a way of like an empowering mindset of, I got this. Like, I can do this. My cats are here. Just like you said, Adrienne, we're all in this together. My pets are here. They're providing strength. I can lean on them. I know I'm supporting them. We've all got this together. And, I know this conversation shifted so far from where we were going, but it's so beautiful, because I think it's so needed in the world today, where we're all so stressed out. We're all so worried. We're being bombarded and blasted by marketing and the news of like, things are just going to blow up in our face and it's all ending. And it's horrible, right? Like, if you subscribe to that.
Yeah.
And everyone here is so beautiful, has so much magic within them. Like, their cats, their pets are so blessed to have them as their guardians and their protectors and their voice. And stepping into that power in the new year is so key, but taking care of yourself is essential for that to happen.
Correct.
And I think that's really important where, we talked a little bit about like the herbs and supporting them. There's a lot of great tools we haven't touched on of like, so how best can you support yourself? It will look different for every single person here, but is it time away from humans? That might be it, where you just need space to like recover. All of us will be different. Some of us, our cups are full with like people. Other people are like, get me away. Like I work with people all day. I need time away to fill my cup. So you have to be able to recognize what works best for you, not what works best for other people.
Right.
And then also to support yourself. Make sure that you're getting movement. Get outside, ground yourself with nature. Like fresh air is amazing. Going outside. Take care of yourself. Like have a cup of tea. Like if you like tea, I love chamomile tea. It's amazing. Like have a cup of tea, put down some chamomile flowers for your cat. They might enjoy it. Kiwi loves chamomile flowers.
Yeah.
So you're using these things that are going to help calm your nervous system. CBD is a great option for a lot of cats. You guys have a great product, Cat Calm, that is very easy to give to cats. So if you know your cat's going to be really, really stressed, start supplementing with something to support them and their nervous system, their adrenal glands, support the gut health, have slippery elm on hand to help with diarrhea. So just have the things ready and take that proactive approach, but most importantly, take care of yourself through the holidays. And that's going to come down to your intuition and connecting with yourself to feel what works best for you.
Yeah.
You were so
right. And that was like literally the perfect way to wrap this up. Thank you so much, Dr. Katie Woodley, for coming into our closet. And for
of course,
our actual last, I didn't even think about that until
we went live.
Right before we went live, that this is our last podcast for 2024. And it has been such a beautiful year. And 2025 is just going to be so much even better. But it has been a beautiful year, and it is, and we're so grateful for you and your friendship and your love and your, and everything that you do to change the world of pet health.
You have so much gentle guidance as well. I mean, I love that it's just a space where it's an invitation to try something that could be helpful. I love that Judith just commented, "Happy holidays and may the woo-woo be with you."
Yes.
Hey, real quick, this is off topic, but we're going to wrap it up with something off topic. Love said she had some I'm asking the veterinarian here. This is going to be a little holiday bonus for everyone. She has some expired flea medication. She doesn't know if she should donate it to a shelter or if she should throw it away. What say you? I know that someone mentioned to give it to a pharmacy
to dispose of it. So yeah, I would, to be honest, because obviously we talk a lot about like natural repellents, but in a shelter setting and a little bit different, not expired, I would call them and see if it would be helpful for them. Because if you can help some of the pets, maybe in a different way than maybe we would support our pets, that is a blessing to pass on. And if you're able to do that, it may help some other pets. Obviously, I like using natural remedies, but it's not always possible in those shelter settings. And I know they're always really grateful for the support that they can get, whether it's through like the foods that maybe we wouldn't feed our cats or, flea and tick medications. So I definitely give them a call and ask, and they'll let you know if it would be helpful for them.
Wow, that is
what
so
a great
beautiful.
reminder.
I was going to say, flush it down the toilet.
No, don't do that. You'll contaminate the water supply. Don't do that. Definitely don't flush it down the toilet.
What a great reminder. When we think of like flea and tick, it's one of our passions.
I know. I don't.
Right? At the same time, it is a great reminder that so many things can be a blessing. And this is especially the season. That we need to not have judgment about those things and just do what we can to help. And love is, thank you so much for asking the question. I love that it was a little holiday bonus for all of us.
Yes.
Dr. Katie Woodley, thank you so much for your gentle guidance, always, for everything that you do to change this beautiful world. We're just so grateful for you and your friendship, and we look forward to a beautiful 2025.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, thank you so much for having me. And thank you for everyone listening and taking time. None of us would be able to do this without all of you. So thank you. And
Yes.
Beautiful.
let's go.
Let's go. All right. We love you guys so much.
Love
And
you.
Happy New Year.
We'll see you all soon. Merry